Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. All the dreams have all changed since you come around. I can't remember if that's exactly the line or not. But anyway, welcome back. Good morning, America, world. It's time for the cardio vlogs. How are you? Have you missed me? Or have you missed Amazon gift cards? Don't answer that, I already know the answer. But here we are, back again. Congratulations to our winners for last week, as limited as it was. I will be contacting you later today with your prizes. So that's a pretty cool thing for them. So that being said, today is a very big event in history. For a couple of reasons. Most notably, and this is a political conversation day, but a historical conversation as well. Today will be the first televised debate between presidential nominees Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So, where to begin on the historic nature of this? Because there are numerous elements and speculations around this debate. Where to start? Okay, so it's the anniversary of a special event, and considered to be potentially one of the most watched programs, or the most watched program, competing to be the most watched program in television, in U.S. television history. So the original top-rated TV history program for about 27 years was MASH, the series finale of MASH, which got, I don't remember the number, but I think it was somewhere around in the nature of about 100 million people. But 27 years after that happened, the who was it? The New Orleans Saints, when they played the Indiana Colts, they beat MASH's historical viewing record. The Super Bowl 44, I think it was Super Bowl 44, received, I want to say that's right, was it 44? I can't remember, honestly. I want to say it was 44. Received over 106 million views in 2010, becoming the most watched. That would mean that over a third of the U.S. population watched the Super Bowl, which is huge for them. It also meant that the people who spent money to advertise during that made a buttload of money, or spent a buttload of money, the advertisers, because I'm sure the cost to advertise per slot was millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's a huge advertising revenue. for the company or the network that carries the Super Bowl every year, but especially that year, I'm sure it was. So there is speculation that, and early numbers suggest, that this debate could pass that, which is really significant because it's two talking heads, two people debating, which we've seen them do over and over and over again, and but not in the same room. And there's speculations about the health of one of the candidates, and really the assassination of both candidates. So that's why I think this is considered to be a significant debate. Today's trivia question, which you will understand in a while, is on what date was the original, or the very first, on what date was the first televised debate for presidential candidates? And who were the participants? So, this is pretty significant. And the things that are going on with Hillary Clinton that are notable are that if you don't follow the news, this is the time to be following the news. Hillary Clinton is the Democrat candidate, and she's had a lot of health issues seemingly over the past, what was it? I want to say almost 8 years that they've been sort of cataloging it. Excuse me. She's had several fainting spells, head trauma because she fell and hit her head, and there is rampant speculation that she suffers from Parkinson's or a blood clot, or some kind of severe neurological disability. And her absence from the campaign trail has made that more. This has only increased that speculation. While Donald Trump has been out every day virtually, to the best of my understanding, traveling around the country, speaking to groups all over. After Hillary Clinton fainted or became terribly dehydrated, whichever you choose to believe, and then we discovered she had pneumonia, according to her doctors, which there's many doubts about that. She disappeared. She disappeared for a few days, came back on Thursday, disappeared again, came back on Monday, did a very brief speech last Monday, and then got off of the campaign trail again. And they say she is preparing for the debates tonight. So that's entirely possible. The thing that makes that challenging for her is that it sounds like she's more concerned about one debate than she is about getting into the communities and meeting people and presenting her plans about what she will do as president. But in many cases, she continually talks about how she will build upon what President Obama has done. Now, even though the approval rating for President Obama is considered to be higher than average, the disapproval rating for government is incredibly high, between 60 and 75%, according to some polls. So there's conflicting polls as far as how happy people are with government and the direction of the government, just like they are with mainstream media. I've heard ratings that say that the trust level for the media is between the mainstream media is 6 to 30%, but way below what it should be, because they just don't feel they tell the truth anymore. And Hillary Clinton wants to stop coal mining. And the reason that's significant is because it's not that she wants to stop it worldwide. She wants to stop it here, saying that she wants to increase alternative sources of energy. But she doesn't want to stop it around the world. And so what happens is that disappears from the US market, and overseas companies take it. They have different kinds of labor laws, and they can find cheaper labor, and then they will import that to us and charge us more, and we will be suffering for it. So that's where people don't really understand that. They think she really wants to start alternative forms of energy. But did you know that many of the companies that Barack Obama, through his administration, have subsidized, that I want to say it's like more than 75% of them have gone out of business? And a lot of those people who were subsidized to do alternative sources of energy were also contributors to his campaign. So they donated millions and got back multi-millions in subsidies that was paid for by you and I. Now, this is nothing new, but this is what happens when money is allowed to pour into politics from large donors and lobbyists. This is what Trump is running on the anti-platform of. So, for an example, I think they said that it's somewhere between 5 and 10% of Hillary Clinton's donations come from donations $200 or less. On Donald Trump's side, I want to say it's 70 or more come from donations $200 or less. So it's far more from the public interest than it is from lobbyists and big groups that are trying to ultimately buy favor, which they always do from Democrats a lot, and they do from Republicans too. But especially in this case, Obama gave a lot of favors to and benefits to his campaign financiers, and Hillary, even when she was in the State Department, was doing that. Trump is coming from a nationalist perspective, which some people will call that a dirty word, other people will call it different. Some people relate nationalists with Hitler, just so you know. because of what he was trying to do with Germany. But Hitler really wasn't a nationalist. He was a dictator. And he wasn't interested in the people of Germany. He was interested in an idea of a person that should be in the type of people who should be in Germany specifically. So there's a little difference there. Trump is so Hillary, to sit on her for a second, there are a lot of mental gambles going on, that either A, she will not make it, B, she will faint, C, she will have a coughing spell during the debate, and show that she really is sicker than she says she is. I personally think that is a horrible way to look at it, because the last thing we need to do is worry about whether someone is going to have a coughing fit or something on national television. It doesn't offend me. I just think I think we should spend our time more focused on the policies that the individuals put forward, and I think that's enough for Trump to win. It should be, in my opinion. I don't think we should be looking to watch on screen someone's health crash. I think that's, I don't know, that's kind of like waiting for someone to take out the Joker or something. It just seems like we could spend our time on better things. And policies, like I said, should be the reason Trump should win. So, I hope nothing happens to her. I would rather her to cancel the debate than continue to do that. Today's trivia answer is September 26th, 1960, 56 years ago today. The candidates: Republican, Richard M. Nixon; the Democrat, John F. Kennedy. Why does that seem relevant? John F. Kennedy, no matter what anybody tells you, there are things about John F. Kennedy's assassination that are still to this day classified, which should be declassified by now, but they are not. And those things that have been declassified are still missing information. And I personally believe that John F. Kennedy was not just typical Democrat. He was very much, as many problems as he had and as imperfect as he was, he wanted to bring up the American people and eliminate dependency on government to solve problems. This is why he had the motto, famous quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." And he died. He was killed. And a lot of people believe that it was connected to the establishments, Republican and Democrat and Republican, back then, because he was not following their plan going forward. There's too many things, which we won't get into here, that make Lee Harvey Oswald very unlikely to have been the shooter. One of them is when he was shot, that the way he hit him, the blood should have gone one way, and instead it went the other way. So, but this is why where Donald Trump comes into relevance, because Donald Trump right now There's a lot of speculation for both him and Hillary, but an abnormally large amount that Donald Trump will be assassinated. There's messages out on the internet now that say Trump on 26, which, as you know now, this is the 56th anniversary of the first presidential debate, and one of the candidates was ultimately assassinated. So the question is, will they try to take Trump out? So if you don't know this, Trump wears Kevlar now because of the numerous assassination threats against him. And Trump has to, in my opinion, they're going to try and go against him because Trump, as a New Yorker, and this is just the way it's ingrained into people from New York and other areas of the country, but a predominant amount in New York and Boston, places like that. When people talk trash to you, I lived in New York for a very brief period of time, so I understand how this works, just to at least enough of a degree to have this point. When someone hits your shoulder, shoves you, or in some way interferes in your space, or goes out to insult you, people are taught to lash back. And you smack someone on the shoulder, or, say something rude to someone, their reaction is to say, F you, some other explicative, throw them a finger sign, whatever else. It's just the way it is. And so that's what Trump is. That's what Trump's style is. That's how he grew up. This is why he does what he does. Some people can say it's thick skin. I think it has more to do with what has been sort of created in his brain since he was a youth to do this. And also to not let people talk trash about him. He fights back. But this is what they're going to try and do to make Trump look bad. Hillary's goal tonight will be to try and get under his skin and get him to lash back at her. And some people say he should lash back at her. Some people say he needs to stick to policy. My opinion is, since they keep complaining about him not being presidential enough, he needs to stick to policy. And he's been given really good advice recently from his campaign manager and the people she's brought in. Kellyanne Conway is his campaign manager, to do subtle approaches to dishing it back out. The whole birther thing, she was, I think, very significant in helping him to answer that question and really come out on top of it and to play the media. That's not what the media shows about that whole birther event, but he actually got them to come to a rally where he announced 14 Medal of Honor military leaders who were endorsing him. And they were all there waiting for him to say something about the birther issue, because he said he was going to comment on it. And he came up and he said 3 sentences. Hillary Clinton in her 2008 debate, or her 2008 debate against, or her 2008 run for primary run for the presidency in the Democratic Party, she started the birther debate, and I ended it. You know what I mean by that? President Obama was born in the United States, period. Now let's get back to what we all want to do, which is making America strong and great again. Thank you very much. And that was his entire response to something he had tweeted out that had gotten all these people in the media to come together. At the end, I bet you didn't hear anything about the Medal of Honor winners, did you? You probably heard about how his whole soundbite was from 15 seconds, maybe 30, from that entire rally, when that's not what it was about. So this is why the media is not trusted, and this is why this sort of stuff is happening. So it will be a very significant debate, 90 minutes. Hillary's camp requested a stool. She was denied that. Mics will be hot, which means they will always be on the entire 90 minutes from 8 p.m. Central to 9:30 p.m. And there will be no breaks. And they say if she starts coughing, well, she's just going to start coughing on air because that's just the way it is. Now, I will disagree with this, and this will be the last thing I say before I go. I disagree with this because if she starts coughing and you prevent someone from getting water or some kind of treatment when they start coughing heavily because they're losing oxygen to their brain, and if you let that go on too long without attention, someone can die. They can sustain brain damage or die because oxygen deprivation is what causes brain damage. So, in addition to other physical interactions like hitting your head or whatever else, but oxygen deprivation can definitely cause brain damage. That's what happened to a young girl in a dentist chair because she had significant brain damage because she had a lack of oxygen. So. This is going to be a very significant thing. Even if you're not into politics, this is a time to watch because it's a very important part of our political system, and I think you should gain some interest in it. There's numerous outlets carrying it, some alternative media, including network and mainstream media, so there's always going to be a source to find it, and I hope you watch. Thanks so much. Don't forget to subscribe, to participate in the trivia challenge especially. Subscribe. Like the video, leave a comment with the answer to today's trivia challenge, and there's 2 parts to it. So leave that below. Thanks for watching, share, and I will see you tomorrow. Be well.